Okay, so I am going through how to do this lab. So we have this rainfall average file that has this information in it. So it has every month number, and then we are having the actual and the average. This is the rainfall for a city. So the city is calculating these things. So we're going to take this rainfall and we want to produce this output for it. So the formatting is important here. Remember, we did some formatting in the last chapter with the set W and all those things. So we're going to go back and we're going to do it. So I put it in the three parts so you can look at it, how you're going to go through these. Uh, and I break it down, and I hope that I have enough explanation. So we're going to put the header. So we have to use the set W and those kind of things to put the header. So the actual average is coming in from the file that we have, actual average. And then we're going to have our month, we're going to have our maximum, and we're going to have a graph. Now, what we do, and that's what something that I want you guys pay attention to it, is if I am reading this from a file and I'm creating two arrays. I'm creating one array for actual and I'm creating another array for my, so I'm creating two arrays, one for this one for this one. Now, the months doesn't really need to have another array. So I'm creating two arrays, one for actual, one for average. And if I put the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 months, so the index is going to be from 0 to 12. So I go to the first index of this, that's going to have the actual. I'll go to the first index of this, is going to have my average. I am going to be using the index for the month. I am not going to save these first numbers somewhere. I'm just going to use my index. So the first one is January, February, and so on. So my index 0 refers to month 1, month 2, month 3, and so on. Then I ask you guys to create an array that's going to have the actual names on it. So it would have January, February, March, April, and so on. So if I go to index 0, it's going to give me January. If I go index 0 over here, it's going to give me this 3.7. If I go index 0 over here, it's going to give me 4.3. This is called parallel arrays. We're going to practice on this for your lab this week, and then later on, we're going to learn about the two-dimensional array. We merge them, but right now we are using parallel array. That means index 11 is going to give me the word December over here. Is going to give me 3.5 in here, and it's going to give me 3.7 over here. So these indexes are going to be referring to the month. Some people like to start with 1 and add 1 here, and they would basically waste the first element, and they start from 1 to 12. That way they don't get themselves confused. So instead of having 12 element array, they would create 13 element array, and they just don't use the first one. So if I go here, I'm going to read this number. I'm going to deduct 1 from it. That becomes my index. Then I save this one in that index, and I'm going to save this one in that index. Are we clear on that one? Any questions on that one? So I put the maximum over here. I will put the word maximum on both sides. So these are the maximum. That means what? When I created this array and I created this array, I'm going to be creating this difference array that's going to be deducting this one from this one. And we're going to be showing the sign. You can say show pause to put the positive over here if you have a positive. So in this one, the difference is minus 3.7. In this one is 0.2. So you're going to go through all these three. So we have right now 4 arrays. One for the names of the month, one for the actual, one for the average, one for the difference. We will find the maximum. They don't have to be part of the array. We can create a variable for it. So we go through the whole array and finding the maximum. Remember, if we want to do this, we can use the second folder. We don't have to use the first one. We can use the second one or the first one, doesn't matter. So you will have a function that's going to be creating the maximum for us. And then you call it 1, 2, 3 times. So the same function is going to be called over here to give me the maximum for this, the maximum for this, and the maximum. So one function is going to be called 3 times. Now, for the graph, we got to figure out a way to put some stars. So my suggestion, you can be creative over here. I'm not worried about it too much. So if I think about scaling it by 10, this would give me 37 stars. This would give me 6 stars. This would give me 2 stars. So I am thinking that if I find the maximum here, and that's some kind of a manageable maximum, maybe I can put so much over here. And so, for example, let's say for the sake of discussion that I am putting, I am multiplying this by 10, and I'm using absolute value. So this is going to give me 6 on the negative side. This is going to give me 2 on the positive side. So to do the 6 star, I'm going to put the star, 6 of them, and then I put a 0. For the positive, because I want to align with this one, and let's say my maximum was 6, so I would put 6 space 0, and then I put positive 2. So this is the part that you need to talk to your partner and kind of come up to some kind of agreement of how to do it. And then you need some time. You cannot just start on this on Saturday and finish it on Saturday night. You need to start early on. Questions on this?
Professor?
Yes.
So I was just wondering, does the negative sign kind of screw up the floor function, or does the floor function take care of that?
You would do the absolute value of it.
So just to be safe, just take the absolute value first, and send it to the floor function. Is what you're saying? Or can we just send like the actual value, the negative value, in as an argument to the floor function?
You can have a floor function for the negative number, but the problem with that is if you're adding 0.5, it's going to go on the other side. So you got to
Okay,
be
yeah,
careful. Yeah, you got to
I
be
see that.
careful
That's
because
the problem.
that's the only problem. Otherwise, because the question is, if you have a 0.6, are you going to round it up to 1, or are you going to round it up to 0? Or let's make it easier. If I have 3.7, so am I going to round this up to 4, or I'm going to round this up to 3? Because it's a negative
4.
number, it's going to go the other way around. So
Yeah,
that's something that you need to discuss with your lab partner.
I see.
That's the only time that you're going to have a problem. I don't see the rounding here. Yeah, you're going to need it because if you don't, then you're going to have a lot of stars. So the question is, how many stars are we going to put here? And what we're going to do is we're going to get the maximum that you have, and you're going to do that many space here, plus a 0, and that many space. So if my maximum is, let's say, 37, I'm going to figure out what my adjusting point is going to be. So let's say my maximum is, I don't know, 13 or 14. Let's say it's 13. That means I'm going to have 13 here and 13 here and 0 here. So I would have maximum of 13 star on each side and a 0 on here. So that would be 27, which is a lot of stars. So we got to find what I wanted to do with the graph. My take on this is the 0 to the left is negative number, to the right is positive number.
Okay.
But because we need to align this, I have to know what's my maximum negative number so I can push my 0 on the positive that much. The negative side, I don't have the problem. The positive side, I have to push my 0 to the right, the maximum of negative I have. So in this case, let's say that my maximum, I don't know. So in this case, I'm assuming the highest I have is 0.6, even though it doesn't show over here. Does it make sense?
Yeah. So, well, the graph for the maximum would be at the maximum, right? So
I'm
above
not
that.
doing the graph for maximum.
Wait. Okay.
I put the word maximum here just to be sure that we are not mixing up stuff. I'm doing the graph for
Okay.
the rest of the stuff. I just put the word maximum here.
And the graph represents the difference.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
The graph represents the difference. So if these numbers are correct, and if my maximum is 3.7, I should have that many space for 3.7, whatever. So the question is, how many stars am I going to do for my 3.7?
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
And that's going to be for the left side, then 0, and then the right side is not a big deal. That way, everything's going to be lined up. The format is very, very important in this. Everything has to line up. The numbers have to line up. You can potentially do show pause, so the positive one show plus sign if you want to. I'm not asking you, but if you want to do it, I think that's going to look nicer if you just have plus and minus, but I'm not asking you guys to do it. Take a look at this one, read it, go over it again, and be sure you understand it. Send your questions to the DQ. I will check all the DQs every single day in the morning, but I will try to check them tomorrow afternoon or multiple times tomorrow in case you guys have questions. Start looking at this early. Don't wait too long. Okay, we're running out of time, so let's go. Any questions on the lab?
No.
Okay, this is something that you can practice on. We don't have that much time right now to do it, but we are writing a function to just add 1 to every element of your array. So that's what this one is doing. So do your practices. Let me know if you have any questions. Do you guys still go to that Discord? Do you guys talk to each other in Discord? That was a good starting for this class, but the person who started left. I don't know what's going on. But let's talk more. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Any questions, concern, anything you want to talk about before we leave? All right. See you guys later.